You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
So happy to have you on this Friday review, where we are about to get into our book review of the week, some updates on our shipping to Australia. We've got new research coming in, and of course, our super nutrient of the week. Super excited to bring that to you. So, without further ado, let's get started. And the first piece I want to start with is that I don't think there's enough people out there right now who are really that concerned about organic versus conventional medicine-based or conventional farming-based foods. And the reason I bring this up is that I'll be at Whole Foods, which we typically shop at, and then I'll also be at my local farmers markets on the weekend. And what I'll see is just as many people, if not more, buying the conventional-based produce. And then what does that mean? Well, conventional-based produce is sprayed with more of the regular pesticides, right? Not organic based. So regular pesticides. Now, these pesticides contain neurotoxins that shut down the nervous systems and kill bugs and insects and all those other types of things, okay? So here's the deal, though. On their own, in a minoscopic-based dosage, well, they're not shown in the acute term to hurt adults or humans. But those are not studied over the lifetime of accumulation. And those toxins are not studied based on multiple toxins mixed together, which is really what we're seeing right now and people are exposed to. And here's the deal. If you simply type into Google, National Institute of Health studies on pesticide dangers. That's all you have to do, because I want you to get used to doing this research yourself. And the reason is people ask me all the time, can you send over this study to my husband? He doesn't believe a word that I'm saying. Or can you send this over to my parents? They still won't choose organic or whatever it might be. And I said, you can type this into Google on your own. Like, yes, there are PubMed studies. Yes, there's environmental working group studies. There are NIH studies, the National Institute for Health, all of those things. All you have to do is type into Google, dangers of pesticides, dangers of, well, like, however you want to do it, and you're welcome to do that. And what I don't want you to do is just take hearsay. I want you to look at science. Now, I want you to look at backed up studies. And what you find is that a lot of these studies are also done in Europe, where they actually care about their citizens' health. One of the reasons why they care about their citizens' health is because they have universal-based health care. So if they're doing things to make their own people sick, their government has to pay for it. Well, not really the case over here in the United States. We poison people, and then we charge them to give them pharmaceuticals or all sorts of cancer-based treatments. It's this really messed up way where we're making people sick with the food, and then we're treating them with other poisons called pharmaceutical drugs. They're still drugs. Like, they're drugs. That's what they are. So we're poisoning and polluting people with food. We're poisoning people with water. We're poisoning people in the environment. And then they come in. We just give them some type of pharmaceutical to mask those symptoms, whatever they might be. Like, that's it. And this is not the way to live. This is not healthy, and this is not normal. And I know that organic-based food costs a little bit more. It does. I do understand that. But here's the problem. I wish we didn't have conventional medicine or conventional farming-based foods at all. And here's why. Those foods are less expensive. They're oftentimes even subsidized by our own government, which means our government is actually paying for some of these foods, such as genetically modified corn or soy. So the farmers are losing money on it, but the reason they keep producing it is because the government actually gives them money, which again is really backwards because they're not doing that for the organic-based farmers. So now we get this false sense of security or this false sense of belief that food should cost this very little bit of amount of money. But the truth is, like, that's not real food. Real food has a little bit of an expense to it. I mean, that's the truth. And since organic farms aren't really allowed to be at scale, we can't get that food cost down yet. Hopefully in the future, we're able to. The other big thing is that when we're looking at the cost of these conventional-based foods, a lot of times we're actually getting it from Mexico and from other places that they use pesticides that we don't even allow to use in the United States. That's how crazy it is. We'll ship the pesticides we make to Mexico or other locations. They'll use them there, grow the crops faster, and then ship them back to us. But since it wasn't made with pesticides like that in the United States, we can then sell them. These are things that they never tell you about. Like this study, for example, from the National Institute of Health. It found an increased cancer risk among 17,000 children living on farms where pesticides were sprayed. This led to all sorts of different types of cancer, leukemia, lymphoma, Parkinson's, ALS, and birth defects, as well as allergies, ADD, ADHD, diabetes, and increased risk of death. We see this all over the world. We see it in India now where they're using pesticides and the farmers are there with no protection. Now in the United States, you see them with these huge gas masks on as they're spraying crops. Well, now picture in other countries who can't afford that or they're not given that or even given the education. And we see infertility, we see birth defects. It's horrible. Nobody's talking about it. Here's my thing. I don't want your children and I don't want you swallowing bug spray, which is what you get when you eat vegetables and you eat fruit that's conventionally sprayed, okay? I don't want you to do that. It is harmful. You can't see it, and it just builds up over time in your body. That's the problem. Usually it's never one dosage. What happens is it builds up over time. We never see it happening. We just don't because it's happening internally inside of our body. So if you're going to buy conventional foods, then I recommend never buying the Dirty Dozen. The Dirty Dozen fruits and vegetables, and I've talked about this before. You can just go to stevencabral.com/podcasts. Type in Dirty Dozen, okay? If you type in Dirty Dozen, you'll see my podcast and you'll see the list on all the foods that you should never buy conventionally farmed. And the reason is you can't wash off those pesticides no matter how hard you try. Now, for the Clean 15 fruits and vegetables, now they have less pesticide spray, sometimes not at all because they might be root-based vegetables. For those, you can simply soak them in a diluted apple cider vinegar and water-based tub, or just fill up a little bucket or bowl, soak your fruits and veggies in that about 15 minutes, take them out, wash them again, pat them dry. That would be acceptable for those. So I am conscious. I understand that these things can be expensive. One other big tip I want to give you is this. Buy frozen, okay? Buy frozen fruits and vegetables. Are they missing the enzymes? Yes, but they still contain the vitamins, the minerals, and the antioxidants. Sometimes even more so. And the reason is they're picked ripe. A lot of times you get fruit and vegetables that are picked before it's even ripened, which means they don't have all of the nutrition that they're supposed to soak up from the ground, from the tree, from the plants, from the whatever it might be. As a fruit, that's how it's getting all of that nutrition in there. It needs time to vine ripen. Well, if you're going to freeze something, you wait for it to ripen, then you pick it, then you freeze it right away. So it's very high nutrient dense and there won't be any waste. You don't have to worry about ever throwing out any fruit. Although, of course, that's why smoothies are great. In the morning, you have fruit, it's about to start going bad, throw it in the smoothie. Make a smoothie. I mean, these are the things that prevent cancer as long as you're not spraying cancer-causing substances right on it, right? It's kind of like, what's the point? We're trying to eat fruits and vegetables to prevent cancer, to prevent free radicals. But someone comes along with a gas mask on, that's how they have to spray, in a full hazmat suit to spray down all of our crops with bug killer. And then we swallow the bug killer? Like, again, would you spray bug spray down your throat? You wouldn't. It makes no sense to me. And I'm going to keep it at that for today. But basically, that's just my public service warning. Do with it whatever you feel is best. But I felt the need that I had to share with you today. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Now, one thing, let's move on to a little lighter note, is that for the very first time, I'm so excited to be able to announce that all of our listeners in Australia were able to ship labs and nutritional supplements to you. So excited about this. The reason we weren't able to before was because of logistics and all sorts of different things. Now, it's not inexpensive for us to ship to Australia. And again, I'm always an open book when it comes to our online happenings and operations, is that on every single order that goes out from stevencabral.com/store, we are most likely losing a little bit of money on shipping. We never charge you what it costs for us to ship. And oftentimes, we get free shipping within the United States. And we do that because we just know that people are used to that, and there's the whole Amazon world and all that. And I want to get great product, way better products than you can find anywhere else, because these are third-party tested. They're made sure to not have any of these pesticides and things like that. They're non-GMO, that we can get them to you. So in Australia, we're finally able to do that. And actually in about a month to even 6 weeks, our shipping is going to be so much more streamlined. I just want to say I truly appreciate everyone that's really supported us over the past year, because we are an offline, we are a Boston-based wellness center and wellness practice that helps people every single day. Our goal was to bring that online so that we could share the labs, the nutritional supplements, the plans, the protocols, all of the things that we see work in our daily practice, and share that with you. That's what we did online. It's taken off like we could never have imagined. We're all, like my entire team is super excited about this. And now we ship to Canada, we ship to the UK, and we ship to Australia. We will eventually be shipping literally all over the world. You just have to give us a little bit of time. And I know that our shipping processes and things like that haven't been as streamlined in the past. We understand that. We're growing, just like you're on your health journey. Well, we're on this journey as well, and we're going to get better. And I promise you that we will be the very best in the world in just about another few months. And the reason I say that is that I want to be able to not just give you the protocols that I know work. I want to be able to provide a real experience along with that, where you feel that you're connected to our team and you're connected to the community. So always provide us feedback. I mean, we're willing to listen. We really are. It's like, how can we get better? That's honestly, that's what I believe in right now. Is that's where I'm at in this point in my life. Is how can I improve? How can I improve as a naturopathic doctor? How can I improve as a husband, as a father, as someone that runs this online community as well? So, always let us know. Provide feedback. It's not going to hurt our feelings. It will a little bit in the short term, but we know that in the long term, that's how we get better. So, thank you again. Just thank you everyone for your support. And again, all labs, all supplements can be shipped to the US, Canada, UK, and Australia now. The only exception to that, unfortunately, is CBD oil. And it's not that we don't want to ship you the very best organically grown CBD oil, very best, most highest potent, full spectrum in the world, literally in the world. But the reason is we can't. Like, it's just illegally, it's gray area, and we're doing things by the book. That's just the bottom line. Okay, next update before I get to my super nutrient of the week, which has been really fun for me, kind of diving deep on all these nutrients. Hopefully you've been enjoying it as well. Is just kind of updating you on where I'm at with my February book challenge and making sure that maybe you're keeping up, or if you haven't started yet, order that book today. 10 pages per day. You know that if you follow my system, it's 10 pages in the morning, I always get this wrong. It's unbelievable every single time. It's 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes before bed. That will give you 10 pages read per day. Even if you're a slow reader at 3 minutes per day, that's 30 minutes total for the day. That will give you 10 pages read. And you will read a 300-page book every single month. And so that's the best way to do it. And that, honestly, you're going to accumulate massive amount of knowledge. Now, with my obsessive nature, of course, if a little is good, a whole lot must be better. I said I'm going to read a book a day for the month of February. Just to let you know where I'm at. I'm at 11. Today's day, the 13th of February. You'll be getting this podcast on Friday. And I'm at 11 books out of 13 days. So I'm a little bit behind, and I want to share that with you, because a lot of times people think, well, like, oh, this person has it together and they're just always hitting their goals. Well, here's an example where I'm not hitting my goal. Why didn't I hit my goal? Now, I could have been much further behind, but here's what happened. I shared with you last Friday that my family was quite sick. My girls were sick. My wife was sick. My dog was sick, believe it or not. Everybody around me was sick. And believe me, Boston right now, you do not want to visit Boston right now if you're not from Boston. Whatever this super virus is, it is wiping people out. It's leading to first flu-like symptoms, and then a sinus-based infection, and then it's leading to bronchitis. I mean, brutal. People are honestly being knocked down. So it's just like, I'm just trying to share, like, with everyone in my practice, we see a lot of people sick, and we're just setting out ahead of time, like, hey, here's what to do. Listen to this podcast. Do these specific things. If you didn't tune into that, check it out. Check it out. Go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. And I believe last week was episode 735, where I talked about that of essentially how to stay healthy. So you can check that out. 11 books out of 13, couple days behind. Over the weekend, last weekend, I simply didn't read any books when I thought I was going to be able to. And the reason is just, taking care of my girls. And that's it. And that was more important. But then I try to get right back on track, even though there was a little less sleep for me, being up during the night and all those things. It's just I was committed to the plan, got back on. And I do plan on actually making up those 2 extra books, I hope, because I'll be on a few flights coming up later this month. But I just want to give you a couple book highlights right now, a couple of my favorites. So 11 books down. I've given high praise to The End of Alzheimer's. I've given high praise to just a really simple, fun book. And there I go, dropping books right now. called Holistic Dental Care. I do hope that you tuned into episode 739 this week. That was on a very simple 5-minute daily routine for your teeth and gums to keep those healthy. Huge fan of that book. There's a book by Jordan Peterson that I'm going to share all of these books at the end of the month. But another one that if you're a practitioner, I wanted to give a health practitioner book out as a recommendation. The Biochemical Imbalances in Disease. This was a great read. Really enjoyed it. I actually, I just enjoyed the insights. I enjoyed just a refreshing look at all the different, because I do consider myself a biochemical-based practitioner. The reason I never call myself a biochemical-based practitioner is because no one has any idea what that means. So this is a really nice handbook for a lot of things that I look at and how I practice. It talks about homotoxicology a little bit. If you want to learn about homotoxicology, again, go to stephencabral.com/podcast. Type in homotoxicology. I did a whole podcast on that, on the 5 phases of disease. That's essentially what homotoxicology looks at. So this was a great book edited by Lorraine Nicole and Anne Woodruff Barine called Biochemical Imbalances in Disease. Again, at the end of the month, I will hopefully be at 28 books for 28 days, and I will share with you those 28 books. They won't all be, stellar reads, but they never are. The goal isn't to read 28 amazing books. The goal is to read 28 books, soak up and absorb the knowledge, because I know from every book, I'm going to get at least 1 to 2 nuggets that I didn't know before that I know that I can use in my practices and in my life. All right, let's move on to our last topic of the day on this Friday review. We're going to get into our super nutrient of the week, and it's a great one. It is called bromelain. Maybe you've heard of bromelain, maybe you haven't. It is a natural occurring enzyme in pineapple. That's the main thing. You get bromelain from a few other things, but pineapple is one of the best ways to get bromelain. And when you look at pineapple, now it's not just from eating the flesh, the meat of pineapple as they call it, right? It's very strange how we call vegan-based foods meat and flesh, but we'll go with it because I don't know another term for it. But the best way to get bromelain is actually from the core, the part that you typically throw out of the pineapple. So that's very interesting that when people eat pineapple, they're not getting a lot of the bromelain because they're throwing out the hard center. So what do I recommend in order to get this bromelain is to actually get the whole pineapple, buy the pineapple yourself. Now it makes a lot. Just cut off the skin, slice it up, but keep that core intact, okay? Slice it basically just into triangles and then freeze it. Then put some in your smoothie in the morning. One of my favorite smoothies, I do this actually as an afternoon smoothie quite a bit, is pineapple. I've talked about this before, but pineapple and mango with a little bit of coconut oil or coconut cream. I put in the vanilla daily nutritional support powder. It is phenomenal. It is a tropical smoothie. One of my favorites. Love it. That works great after a workout for me. Of course, it's a little higher glycemic. Put a half a banana in there. I mean, you put a half a banana in the mango and pineapple, it literally is like a pina colada. It's amazing when you add that coconut in there. And so I'll do that for after a workout, and it is delicious. And your body's going to soak right up that nutrition. You don't need to go overboard, but a little bit of pineapple, you get the bromelain. So, and in the pineapple, besides the bromelain, you're getting the vitamin C, you're getting B1, you're getting potassium, you're getting manganese, and you're getting all of the plant-based phytonutrients, which are essentially antioxidants in the fruit as well. So what is bromelain good for? Well, the reason why I've talked about bromelain before in the past is that it's an enzyme and it works great as a protease, which means that it helps break down protein. So you can use it as literally meat tenderizer in restaurants, or you can use it in something like our daily digestive enzyme, which contains bromelain that helps to break down meat without having to add hydrochloric acid to your stomach. So that's really nice. But there are other things besides it being a great digestive enzyme. And that's what I want to focus on today, because a lot of people know bromelain as a great digestive enzyme. However, it's also a great, what's called a fibrinolytic, an anti-edematous, and anti-thrombotic product. Now, what does that mean? Well, here's what it means. It breaks down blood clots. It kind of washes away edema, which is kind of water retention. And it helps with swelling, often due to inflammation as well. So if we look at that, well, do you know anybody with cardiovascular-based issues, high blood pressure, edema, or joint pain or swelling? Because this could be a really great product, meaning bromelain, not just pineapple, but bromelain. So I think that's really great. There's also a lot of studies being done for as an anti-cancer, that it can actually stop lung metastasis. Like that means from tumors growing in the lungs. And it's been shown because of, again, it's proteolytic-based enzymes. It's proteases that it can go and break down tumors, cancerous tumors. Pretty amazing. I believe over 1,500 articles right now on bromelain's medicinal value. And again, it's plant-based, so it's plant-based medicinal value. Now, it's extracted from the stem and typically the core of the pineapple. And the other thing, I'm going to give one more after this, but one of the reasons why I recommended before in the past is that it's also a great anti-inflammatory. A product that I've mentioned a few times before has been called Wobenzyme. I'll link up Wobenzyme in the show notes today. But it's an amazing product. It's been used in Europe for decades, and it's one of their best anti-inflammatory, anti-arthritic-based products out there, okay? We don't sell it, but we link up to it all the time in the show notes. Great product. Get the PS version of it. I like the PS version of it. It contains the larger amount of bromelain, somewhere around, I believe, 270 milligrams or so. I believe they go by milligrams as a unit dosage, but don't quote me on that. But I believe that's what it is because I've looked at that product so many times before. It has a lot of great products. So you take them on an empty stomach. When you're looking to do an anti-inflammatory, you're looking to do an anti-cancer, anti-tumor. All of these things are taken on an empty stomach. And the reason is they then move through the intestinal wall to the bloodstream. Now, when you use it as a digestive enzyme, well, you do it before the meal or during the meal, and that would work fine. So the daily digestive support or daily digestive enzyme, you'd use that during your meal, help break down your proteins better. And then as an anti-inflammatory, you would do it upon waking and or before bed. Okay, so little recap for you since we went through a lot right there. Bromelain can be used to decrease joint pain. Oh, that's the last thing. The whole reason I picked bromelain this week, and I almost forgot. The whole reason I picked bromelain was this, is that bromelain works great for cough, bronchitis, congestion, sinusitis, allergies, inflammation of the nasal cavities, all of those things. That's literally the reason that I picked it, and I almost forgot. So right now in Boston, we have so many people with bronchitis. I have people texting me, like friends and family, like, what do I do? I'm all coughing and hacking. And of course, we're doing things like the neti pot, and we're doing the adult immune protocol and all these great things. Yes, we're doing that, the elderberry. But one other great thing is either bromelain syrup or a product with bromelain in it, or just straight bromelain would work great as well. And again, you could use Wobenzyme. You can use whatever product you would like. Okay, so yes, we know it's great for sinus infections or rhinosinusitis. We know it's great for allergies and asthma. I talked about that. It's a great anti-inflammatory, good for the joints, great for the cardiovascular system to break up fibrin, essentially. And it's great for as a potential prevention of cancer or anti-tumor-based product. So again, I love bringing you these super nutrients because it shows you definitively, scientifically, that all of these vitamins, all of these minerals, all of these herbs, everything that we're talking about right now is proven to work. And that, unfortunately, conventional medicine just doesn't study it, and that's why they just don't see the value in it. But for the long-term health, these are the things that truly get you well. They help to rebalance the body, especially as you're looking at any of those underlying root cause-based imbalances. Thank you so much once again for tuning into the Cabral Concept. It really does mean a lot to me. Really appreciate each and every one of your listens and your shares, of course. And be sure to tune back tomorrow as we're answering your questions on our weekend house calls. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.